Welcome to the Run Your Day podcast, a show dedicated to helping you expand your capacity, take your life in every area to an entirely new level, and creating a day and a life by design. Here's your host, Dan Hafner. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Run Your Day podcast. As always, your host, Dan Hafner here. Today's topic is this: Mr. Grumpy Gills. As always, I appreciate you guys joining. Sit back, relax, and enjoy this episode. All right, everyone. So today we're going to talk a little bit about that good old quote from Finding Nemo. All right, Mr. Grumpy Gills. So came across a piece of content I was reading the other day, and it talked about pulling yourself out of a bad mood. And I was kind of just reading through it, and I got some good pieces of advice from it, but it got me thinking of, what strategies do I actually use to pull myself out of a bad mood? And a little bit of background on this: I'm usually in a bad mood. I know you guys might not think that about me. I seem to be pretty upbeat, pretty positive on this show for the most part. But for whatever reason, just like my entire life, like I noticed that I just get in bad moods a lot. Like I've always allowed a lot of things to trigger me. I worked through those things, and I've gotten a lot better. But I do find myself in a bad mood just a lot. And maybe it has to do with different stress levels. Maybe it has to do with different things going on in my life at certain times. But overall, I have noticed. I know it might come as a surprise to some of you. But there's just a lot of times when I'm just like pissed off, or I'm just irritated or angry about something, um, and it's not healthy, right? It's not healthy to live that way. So when I started to read about this, I really started to think about, like, well, what strategies do I use, right? That I use to pull myself out of a bad mood. So I have three that I went back through, and I really thought about these, and I want to share them with you, because I think these are pretty straightforward, pretty generic, but they're also good reminders for all of you out there, that might be just kind of in these spots, and I know we struggle to find time maybe to pull ourselves out of bad moods, but if we all really, I think, if we all focused on doing this, I think the world would be a happier place. So let's get started. So the first one that I really thought about, the thing that I really come back to a lot, is just breathe. I actually have one of I'm not sure which model of the Apple Watch, but there's literally an app on there that will like beep, and it'll like, for those of you that have the Apple Watch, will know it like vibrates like as it goes faster, you inhale, and there's like a little thing on the screen that when the bubble gets bigger, you inhale, and when it shrinks, you exhale. And then when it expands, you inhale, and then when it shrinks, you exhale. And this is kind of tied to meditation, right? Of focusing on your breath, focusing on something that's controllable, that's simple, and it takes your mind off of the stress or the anxiety or the bad mood that you're in, right? So even that's like the one key, but that also requires a little bit of effort of recognizing, like, hey, I'm in a bad mood, and I need to just that's like more of a quick reset of like, okay, I just need to take a minute here and just breathe, because if I don't, I'm going to explode on somebody, or I'm just going to punch a freaking hole in a wall or something like that. You know what I mean? So that's always the big key for me, is to just I really honestly think, and I'm not a meditation expert, I'm not a spiritual expert or anything like that, but there is serious power in a deep breath. Like there just is serious power. Like when you just truly take that, like, and you hold it, and you hold it, and then you let it out. Like there's something physiologically that changes inside of you, that I don't understand how it works. I just know the result that it gets me, and it's beautiful, right? Now the second one I want to go a little bit more in depth to, because I've recently found this, and again, it's so simple, but it gets such big it makes such big changes, gets big results, because the second strategy you have for pulling yourself out of a bad mood is asking why, right? I call it like the 2-year-old game. You just ask why 100 times so you get to a reason. Now, this is how this works, right? I found this through meditation in myself one day. Sitting there, just like pissed off, like just angry. But I don't even remember what it was, to be honest with you. But I started thinking, I sat down and I closed my eyes and I was breathing. And I'm like, why am I so mad right now? Right. And then an answer in my mind came up of like, well, it's because this happened. And then for whatever reason, I was like, well, why did that happen? Oh, well, it happened for this reason. Well, why did that happen? What were the circumstances that led to that? Well, this was the situation and this is why this was happening. Well, why did that situation come up? Well, this is the reason why. And you see where I'm going with this, right? So you start to, it's so simple. It's so simple. It's like having a 3-year-old that just asks why, but just doing this to yourself and answering honestly, like you'd be amazed where this rabbit hole leads you. Like you'd be amazed because it goes down this path of clarity. Like you really start to like wade through all the crap and the quote unquote bullshit of the reasons in your brain of why you're being some way or why you're thinking some way or why you're acting some way. And you really get like when you know you hit the bottom is when like something comes out that you weren't expecting and you find what I call like a story, right? Well, I did that because of this, because I just feel this way. Okay, boom, there you go. You found the reason that's underlying your behavior or your bad mood or your anxiety or whatever it might be. So just this process of just repeatedly asking why, and just digging deeper and deeper and deeper and not being afraid of what you're going to find, right? I've started doing this and it has changed my freaking life in the past, I don't know, I think it's been about maybe 2.5 weeks. Um, and like I've had some of the biggest breakthroughs in my mind in years just by asking why. Just why? Why? Be that 2-year-old, right? All right. So the third one, it's a little more straightforward as well. But obviously the thing the thing that works for me when I'm in a bad mood is just moving. Um, and for me, that's running, right? So for me, just going for a nice, slow jog. Maybe if you're more angry and or you want to take something out on something, you have a punching bag or you run faster, or you lift weights or whatever it might be. But there are a lot of physiological benefits to exercise, obviously, but to that release of inner angst or rage or irritation or whatever feeling that you're feeling, right? And no one ever got back from a run or a workout and was like, man, I'm just more angry than I was when I started, right? Because if you actually like are exerting yourself, you're going to work out those inner feelings. You're going to work out that inner anger, irritation, or whatever there is in there. And you'll notice when you're done, it's kind of like that deep breath, right? There's that healing power almost to it of that. Wow, this is actually a little bit better, right? So those are my three things. Number one, breathe. Now you don't have to have the Apple Watch app or Headspace or whatever it might be. You can just focus on your own breathing, just for 3 seconds, like 10 seconds. Just a couple deep breaths, move on with your life, right? Number two, the why game. Just asking why? Why am I feeling this way? Why did this happen? And just going off of that and just going whatever way the rabbit hole leads you, right? And then third and finally, just moving, running, biking, punching bag, workout, walk, stretch, anything to just move your body, shake off that feeling, shake off that inner whatever feeling you're having at the moment. And those are really the three ways that I have found that, I can shake off a bad mood, and I'm pretty experienced at it. Like I said, I'm in a bad mood a lot of times, so I'm doing a lot of these all throughout my days here, going through my life. So I'd be interested in hearing, what are some of the ways that you typically shake off a bad mood, or do you have any particular strategies or things that you find that help you? You can always share that on the Facebook page at Run Your Day. Love to hear from you. So that is all I have for you. My question is, that is simply, think about what you do to shake off a bad mood in your life, and you can always feel free to share it with us or with somebody else in your life, and just share, how you overcome these times of bad mood, or whatever you're in. So, all right, my friends, that is all I have for you today. That's going to wrap up the show. As always, head over to runwageapp.com, download the Runwage app, and this will help you work out some angst as well if you're running a little bit more consistently. So, all right, everybody, I appreciate you guys. Dan Hafner signing off. Make it a great rest of your day. Hey, have you ever thought about joining a virtual run challenge? As COVID-19 continues to upend our lives and change our life routines, finding fresh ways to challenge yourself physically can be difficult. I know I'm having trouble with that. It can also be pretty hard to connect with others and find accountability partners for the purpose of fitness as well. That's why we created Runwage Virtual Challenges. Runwage Challenges are a new and exciting way to stay physically active and maintain social distancing. Every challenge takes place 100% online, and you can compete against and engage with runners from all over the world. Best of all, they are the only virtual challenges out there which actually reward participants with real cash. That means you have no excuse for staying inactive during this pandemic. So if you've been looking for a fresh and interesting way to stay active and get your miles in, go to runwageapp.com/virtual challenges to join me and the diverse community of runners already competing. That's runwageapp.com/virtual challenges. Can't wait to see you there.